Hey guys, it's Max and Pickle and Sprout. You can see Sprout is behind Pickle somewhere, so I'm sure he'll come out. But I wanted to do this video about 5 things that you should know before getting a mini pig. So I know there's a ton of information on the internet, there's so much research that's out there, and I thought I would narrow it down to 5 things that were really important to me, and hopefully these will be helpful for you as well. So the first thing is definitely breeder. I work with Orange Grove Farms down in Florida, and they've been great for both Pickle and Sprout. Something that you really want to make sure that you find in a breeder is somebody that's really communicative with you. So they have been that for me from well before I agreed to get my pigs all the way through now, and it's been over 3 years. So you really want to find somebody that's not slow to respond or that seems like they might stop responding to you. Definitely somebody that's honest and will provide a bunch of information that you will need for your pigs, whether it's beforehand or during the course of their life when you have an emergency or just a random question that nobody else seems to know the answer to. So definitely finding a breeder that will communicate with you and that you feel is honest. I know I talked a little bit about this in the size of pig videos, but also, asking them important questions about the genetics of the pigs they have, how big have they been historically. Just because their parents are maybe 20 pounds, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because they could be 20 pounds and 6 months old. So it's really important to find out the actual weights and ages of the parents and just feel comfortable with that discussion. So if the parent is 6 months and 200 pounds, that's probably not going to be a standard mini pig. So having that conversation with the breeder and just making sure you're comfortable with them in terms of all discussion points is the number one most important thing. Number 2, I would say, is this actually falls under the breeder as well, but asking them to specifically socialize your pigs. So it's very, very important that they're around either other animals or humans, male, female, old, young, because if not, it could be 3 months down the road when it's finally time for you to get your pig and they haven't been around anybody, they don't want to be picked up, they don't know how to act. And so it's super important that they just have had experience when they're younger, being held, being with somebody. Even different sexes is important because some of them will get more accustomed to males versus females. And so having that variety of people and even other pets that they're around is really important. Looks like they're just showing you their butts right now, so I'm not sure what they're going to get into, but we'll see. Pickle is finding his way under the covers, so I'll try to make this quick because it'll be a boring video without them in the background. But my number 3 point is to have them spayed or neutered. This just goes with any animal. It's super important that you have that done. You don't want them to be aggressive, and pigs do have a habit of becoming aggressive if they're not spayed or neutered. So you do want to have that done beforehand. It could be that the breeder has it done, or you have your vet do it as soon as you bring them home. But somewhere, between maybe 6 to 10-ish weeks, something in that range. Again, ask your breeder to be sure. You can't have it done when they're super young, and you don't want to wait too long either. So definitely have that done beforehand. Something else important to know beforehand is that you might need to rearrange your home a little bit. Pigs love to push things around. So unlike a dog that might sniff around and not really, maybe jump on furniture but not really push stuff around too much, pigs love to push things around. So chairs, trash cans, tables, if they can move it with their nose, they probably will. So again, that's something that can be trained so they're not aggressive when they do it, or so they just don't do it as much. But it is something to be aware of. If you have a ton of stuff in your house, they're going to be curious. They're super smart. They're like the 3rd or 4th smartest animal, and you have to remember that they're going to be curious and want to know what things are. They want to get in drawers. They want to open cabinets, and that's sort of how it is. So you might need to prepare your house beforehand if you do decide to get a pig. And then my 5th thing is just the whole sleeping and eating patterns. Pigs love to eat. So when you first bring your pig home, they're going to be loud. They're going to want food. When you're trying to sleep and it's 3 or 4 in the morning, they might want to eat. And that's really something that you have to train into them based on your schedule. When is dinner time? When is breakfast time? But when they don't know that, when they first get into your house, it is going to be something that they're going to have to learn. So they'll probably wake up in the middle of the night crying and banging at the door or their cage or whatever for food. And that's something that you just have to work in terms of training them on. So they could wake up at 6, 7, 8 o'clock later down the road, or maybe learn to not make as much noise. but when they're young, they're hungry, they're growing, and they do want food. So be open to a different sleep schedule or a different eating schedule or whatever it is in the mornings, something that you kind of have to get used to. So hopefully, looks like Pickle is coming out a little bit. Hopefully those 5 things help you guys when you're doing your research about getting mini pigs. So just to recap, breeder, number 1 most important thing, they can provide you all the research that you need. So you do want to get with somebody that you really trust and feel comfortable with. Number 2, asking them to socialize their pigs. You want them to be comfortable when they come into your home. Number 3, spaying or neutering, super important. You don't want an aggressive pig. 4 and 5 is more about your home and your habits. So pushing things around, you might need to do some rearranging, and sleeping and eating, those schedules, you're gonna have to work on those a bit because they're pigs and they're hungry. So anyway, hopefully this video was interesting to you guys and it was helpful. I'm gonna do another one about 5 tips for right before you bring your pig home and sort of that transition process as you do have your pig. 5 products that I like, or just things that I think are super important once you've decided to get that pig and you have the pig coming home. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And Pickle and Sprout, say bye. See you guys. Thanks.